Okay, here's some hints for homework sheet 13. First question is a fractional equation. Our first job is to try and get rid of the fractions. So if we look at the fractions here, we've got 2, 3 and 6. Now each of these numbers all divide into 6. So the way that I'm going to get rid of the fractions is I'm going to multiply everything by 6. So the 2 cancels into 6 3 times. So that leaves us with 3 lots of 2x minus 4. Take away. Then the 3 cancels into the 6 twice. So that's take away 2 lots of 2x minus 5 equals, and the 6 cancels with the 6. So it leaves me with negative 17. Now if you remove the brackets, you should be able to solve for x. Question 2, explaining nature of the roots. First thing I need to do with this question is I need to rearrange it so that it equals 0. Once I've rearranged it to equal 0, I identify what my a is, what my b is, what my c is, and I plug these values into the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac, and then look at my answer. Now remember, you've got to write a wee sentence at the end. What happens if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, if it equals 0, or if it's bigger than 0? What does this mean? So write your little explanation. Question 3, I'm going to rewrite this question as x cubed y to the negative 2 over x to the negative 2 y to the power 4. Okay, now you have a rule for indices where you should know what you're doing with the powers. So this power 3 and this power negative 2, because we're dividing, you should be subtracting them. Similarly for the negative 2 and the 4 to get your final answer. Question 4. So another one of these questions about the parabolas. First part says at what time is the height equal to 40 metres? So you need to take your formula, negative 2t squared plus 24t, and put it equal to 40. And then you need to get the 40 over to the other side, and then factorise that, try and work out what t is and what t is. And then that will tell you how long it takes for it to reach the height of 40 metres. To find the maximum height for part B, first of all you need to find the roots. So it was just like last week's question. How do you find the roots? Now you solve negative 2t squared plus 24t equal to 0. So not 40 this time, when it equals 0, because we're finding the roots. So deal with that, factorise it, get two answers for t. Once you've got those two answers, find the midpoint for the line of symmetry, and then plug that back into your formula, and that will tell you the maximum height. 5, similar triangles. Well, here we've drawn them out separately. 6 and 5 on the sides. 8 we know. I've put an x on for side AD. Okay, set up the ratios. 6 over x equals 5 over 8. Do a bit of cross multiplying and work out what x is. Now that's not the answer to the question, because we're only looking for the length of BD. We're only looking for this part here. Okay, your x tells you the whole of that distance. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take away the 6 for the top bit to get the length of BD. Question 6. Find the gradient of this line. Well, that's just a case of rearranging it as 2y equals negative x add 4. And then what does y equal? That will tell you what the gradient is before the x number. Then you have to use that gradient and the point negative 25 to find a new line. So we're going to substitute the gradient you've just found and the point negative 25 into y minus b equals mx minus a. Now question 7, change the subject to the formula. It's a wee bit like the first question, it's got a fraction in it. How do we get rid of the fraction? Well, we would just double everything. So you get 2a equals h times a add b. Hopefully it's a wee bit easier to change the subject now. Remove the brackets on the right hand side, change it all round about, and you should be able to come up, hopefully, with what a equals. Question 8, removing brackets. 3 brackets to remove here, so we're going to do it in stages. We're actually going to remove the brackets on the last 2 first of all. So the first bracket is going to stay as 3 minus x. We're going to remove the brackets on the second one. Now that comes to x squared plus 4x minus 5. And now we're going to remove the first bracket, so we're going to do 3 times, 3 times, 3 times, and then negative x times, negative x times, and negative x times, and then tidy it all up for your final answer. Question 9, wee trig equation. Take the positive 2 over, so 3 sine x equals negative 1. Take the 3 over, so sine x equals negative 1 over 3. Do your all sine tan cos. Tick the boxes that you're looking for, get your 2 answers. And then lastly, number 10, we've got to find the size of the angle up here. The formula we're going to use is that the arc is pi times d times the angle over 360. What do we know in the question? Well, we know the arc is 6. We know the radius is 8. Right, we're told that. So the diameter is going to be 16 times alpha over 360. Now if you get the pi over to this side, if you get the 16 over to this side, if you get the 360 over to this side, that'll then leave you with what your angle alpha is. And that's the end of the homework.